Morning, Judge.
Jill, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. All we need is a prosecutor. Do you have all the folks at 9 o'clock, Jill?
I have Christopher Hall on behalf of Miss Ayala, and I have Gregory Hofstadt. Those are my two cases.
Okay.
Not sure who the gentleman is. Okay.
That's Mr. Strong. Is that Mr. Strong that's waiting?
Yeah.
Who's the attorney in that?
Quilty.
And then we have a Ramirez. Do you know who that is, Michelle?
Hmm.
Ramirez. Mr. Strong, can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear you now.
All right. Who's Mr. Quilty's your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you talk to him to be present today? Does he know that you've got court?
Yes, I just talked to him a little bit ago.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to wait for him before we call your case, okay?
Okay.
Ms. Figueroa? Ma'am?
Yes.
I'm sorry, do you also go by Quinones? Ma'am, can you hear me? Do you also go by Lizette Quinones?
No, just Figueroa.
Figueroa, I don't have your case up this morning. What's your case number, Gino?
It's 20 C as in Charlie, F as in Frank, 173.
All right, give me 1 second.
She's in the wrong courtroom.
You're in courtroom 611, but your court case is in courtroom 612. So you have to sign out of this one, and then just like you got into this one, go over to
Okay.
612's courtroom, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, man.
Bye.
Hey, Chris.
Are we all good? Jill, you there?
Yes, Judge.
All right, are we ready to get rolling, guys?
Lisa's muted.
Hello.
Yes, you all set, Lise? I think Jill's got a couple clients up. Are they going to be here, Jill?
They should be, Judge. I'm not sure about Miss Ayala's client, if she has had contact with Christopher Hall. I would just be asking for a continued pretrial date on that. But Mr. Hofstad should be here. I can certainly try reaching out to him. He was present the last court date.
What are we doing with those cases?
So Mr. Hofstad, he recently petitioned into VTAC. I've spoken to Ms. McCure, and we're just asking for the longest pretrial date the court is willing to give. And with Mr. Hall, I would just be asking for a continued pretrial date.
No, there's nobody in the waiting room yet. And Mr. Strong, did you call Mr. Quilty?
She's muted.
I know he's undoing it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna stay here, but I'm gonna go mute, and I'm gonna turn off my video, wait till somebody joins, so hang in there.
Hello?
Yeah, Lisa, we're waiting for Jill's two clients and then Mr. Quilty. So as soon as they join, we'll get going.
Judge,
Okay.
I'm going to contact Mr. Hofstadt. I don't have Mr. Hall's contact information,
Okay,
just for the court's information.
all right,
I'm gonna
thank
call him right now. Judge, I just got off the phone with Mr. Hofstadt.
Okay, what do you say?
So he was under the impression that he had court at 1:30. Is it possible to pass this case to 1:30?
Yeah, I will, but Jill, it is abysmal. It
It's
is.
awful.
This
it's like-
afternoon?
It's like 2+ full pages of cases.
No problem, Judge. If the court was perhaps inclined to waive his presence today and continue the matter for arraignment, I'm just asking for a long day for him, for his case is still being reviewed for Veterans Court. So to that end,
Do you have an objection to that, Lisa?
No, not at all.
thank you. So just a long,
Yeah, you want to go to the end of July?
sure.
Okay.
On the record or no?
Yeah,
You make the record.
Yes, please.
Is our court reporter ready? I can't tell.
He's been ready. She was
Okay.
here at like 6:30. She was so excited.
Awesome. This is People of the State of Illinois versus Gregory Hofstadt, 19 CF 2783. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is not present and he is represented by Jill Castle. Case comes before you for arraignment.
And Ms. Castle, where's your client?
Judge, my client is not present. I'm asking the court to waive his presence today. He was under the assumption that his case was at 1:30, and just for the court's information, my notes reflect that as well. So I'm asking the court to waive his presence today and continue the matter for arraignment to late July.
So he's obviously at liberty, correct?
That is correct.
All right, then his presence will be waived under those circumstances. Let him work his way through the screening process. July 28th at 1:30 for status and arraignment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Lisa, if you'd like to call Christopher Hall, I have no objection to that.
Sure. This is 19 CF 1789, People versus Christopher Hall. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is not present but represented by Jill Castle on behalf of Davina Ayala. This case comes before you for case management. Your Honor, we did tender supplementary discovery to Ms. Ayala and also filed compliance with the court via email.
And I did print the disclosure acknowledging receipt of that, Ms. Castle.
I'm not acknowledging receipt, Judge. I'm not positive what information Miss Ayala has.
Okay,
So to that end, I wouldn't want to acknowledge receipt without.
all right, ladies, if there's an issue, then talk to each other, work it out. What are you asking to do with the case today?
If we can continue the matter for pretrial, I'm asking the court to waive his presence today.
Do you know where Mr. Hall is?
I do not. If we could perhaps maybe continue it 1 week out, Miss Ayala can try to get in touch with him.
Well, next Tuesday is really no better than today.
Okay.
How about next Thursday
Sure.
at 1:30?
Okay,
July 2nd at 1:30. He must appear. If he fails to appear, a warrant's going to issue for his arrest.
thank you.
Thank you.
And that is all I have at 9 a.m. this morning, Judge. Is there anyone in the waiting room that potentially needs representation?
Doesn't look like it. All
Okay,
right,
I will see everyone at 10 then. Thank you.
see you at 10. We need Mr. Schwarzbach and Mr. Quilty. All right, so again, I'm going to go turn off my mic and my video when as soon as somebody's on, I'll come back on.
Judge, he might be in the waiting room. He just told me he's here.
Patty, you there?
There he is.
All right. Hey, Casey.
Okay. 18 CF 2660, People versus Cassidy Strong. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is present via Zoom, along with his attorney, Pat Quilty, present via Zoom. Case comes before you. I believe it's set for trial this morning. And currently, with the corona pandemic, we are unable to proceed with that.
All right, Mr. Quilty, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Are you still indicating a jury trial?
Yes, at this time, Judge.
All right, so bear with me for a minute. I need to spread this a record. Mr. Strong, the Supreme Court issued 2 orders which essentially put on hold the speedy trial rights of defendants given the pandemic. At this time, we cannot bring jurors into the courthouse and safely hold jury trials. You don't have the space, you don't have the facilities to socially distance people appropriately. But we're working on solutions to that. So I'm gonna strike today's trial date. Pat, do you want a case management date or do you just want to keep this on the trial call?
You know what, Judge, why don't you just do a case management date, and if something changes, we can do it whatever time you want to do it, sometime end of July or early August or something like that, and we can kind of figure out where we're at this point. Obviously, the news lately doesn't bode well for everyone but Illinois, so you kind of worry what's going to happen next. And Casey's been waiting a long time. We'd probably like to get something resolved as soon as we can, but obviously, we're both fully aware of what's going on.
How about July 28th at 1:30?
Okay,
Does that work?
that works.
All right, then the trial date is stricken. We'll set up for case management on July 28th. Bond is continued. Mr. Strong, thanks for hanging in there. I know you were on there early, so I appreciate it.
Hey, Judge, just, I apologize. I got a new laptop about a week and a half ago, and it seems like I'm just having so much problem with volume and getting on, and not, as you can see, probably I'm using my cell phone once again. And I'm trying to see if I can get this thing worked out. We thought we had it solved, so I apologize. I had another courtroom and another courthouse, but I tried to lock on about 8:45 this morning, so I apologize. Appreciate your patience.
No worries. All right, everybody be safe. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Just waiting on Mr. Shorsbach and Mr. Ramirez. You're muted, Lisa.
Sorry, I said he keeps emailing me. Maybe he thinks this is at 10. Let me check.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come back when he replies.
Okay, sounds good. Jim, we're waiting. Your client is not on.
Oh, Judge.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Judge. I have 4 different custodies. One is an interpreter case. And I spoke to both Mr. Corbin and Ms. LaBeouf today. We're ready on all of them.
Okay. Well,
Judge, I thought you were 10 o'clock today. I'm sorry.
that's right. You have something at 9. You have a Israel Ramirez.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready on all 4 of my matters for both 9 and 10 o'clock. That would be Derek Johnston, Derek McKenzie, Israel Ramirez, and Jose Ortega Reyes with the 2 prosecutors. And we can call them at your convenience.
Is Mr. Ramirez in custody?
He is. All 4 are.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you got added for 9, but that's okay. We're a couple minutes early, so the jail's not going to jump on for another 10 minutes. So why don't we just kind of hold here, and then as soon as the jail jumps on, we'll call your cases, Jim, okay?
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. Morning, Deputy. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today, Judge?
Good. Listen, we've got, as you probably already know, we need a couple gentlemen that need the interpreter. And Mr. Schwarzbach's their attorney, and he's already on. So as soon as the interpreter joins, we'll get those gentlemen in and out real quick, okay?
Okay. Sounds great, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. The only one that we will have to wait on this morning will be Mackie Clyde. We can get him. He's just ASU status, sir, so we'll just have to send somebody when we're ready for that.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Ms. Diaz, good morning. Thanks
Good
for
morning, Your
jumping on.
Honor.
So as soon as this,
Ms. Diaz,
Yes,
we'll have two. One is Israel Ramirez.
Israel Ramirez. Okay.
He speaks good English, but we use interpretation. It's 19 CF 1860,
1860.
19 CM 21. Judge, my coffee exploded in the microwave.
oh, clearly a first world problem, Jim. So
Unusual problems this summer, huh?
I wish they were that complicated, the rest of them. All right. It's, we were just talking about how challenging the world is right now.
Is
Sure
Ramirez
is.
an interpreter case? Because my file doesn't note it.
Mr. Schwarzbach indicated he does speak English, but he's
Okay.
more comfortable with the Spanish interpreter.
Judge, I'll give you a quick informal rundown on 4 of my custodies today. That I've worked with the prosecutors on all. Ramirez will be a plea on a 2-year IDOC on a class 4 ag driving license revoked, conviction on a VOOP, and we could do that as early as possible. He's already signed his trial in Zoom waivers, so it's just a matter of getting the sentencing order. Because it's a turnaround, I'd like to do it as early as next Tuesday, if Lisa feels we can do that.
Next Tuesday is closed because it's awful. I could probably do it next Wednesday, which is not typically one of my, he's in custody, Jim?
Yeah, but Judge, next Wednesday I'm going to be on a camping trip with my son and some of his buddies through the 4th. How about the following week?
I could, well, I don't, if it's essentially a turnaround, I don't want to make the gentleman wait. So how about if we looked at, we'll go off call, we could do it Monday the 29th, but I couldn't do it until the afternoon.
I'll be available for you. Lisa, would that be okay?
Yes, one of us will be available.
I've already had my guy sign his relevant stuff. Even if he doesn't sign the sentencing order, I'll have a copy of it to him and he'll sign it in front of you, Judge, and the jail deputies can get it down, because I don't know if I'll be in there after tomorrow. I won't be in Lake County Thursday or Friday, but we'll get it done.
Hang on one second here. I'll get all some folks in. Okay, as soon as Mr. Ramirez gets here, we'll get going. Deputy is, we have Mr. Ramirez coming up.
Judge, we don't have him on our in custody list for today. I can get him. What's if I get his first name?
Israel Ramirez. Do you need a DOB on him? Let me see. DOB 112673. So we'll pass that one. Then Jim, your other gentleman was Mr. Ortega Reyes.
Yeah, the other custody. Then there's two other English-speaking custodies.
Sure.
Call the, this is Chris Corbin calling Jose Ortega, 20 CF 126, people of the state of Illinois versus Jose Ortega Reyes. People by Christopher Corbin, defendant present in the custody of the Lake County Jail, assisted by the Spanish language interpreter and his attorney, Mr. Schwarzbach.
Entonces, el caso de José Ortega Reyes, 20CF126, aquí está de la Fiscalía, el señor Corbin y también su abogado, James Schwarzbach, está, y el señor está en custodia del condado de la cárcel.
All parties are
Wait,
present.
Chris, the gentleman is not in the chair, so he's not even here. So let's hold on. So also, you're going to have to do that in smaller bites.
Mr. Ortega, have a seat in the chair.
Diaz, to give her a fighting chance of keeping up.
Here, come on, this is very nice, Judge. Okay. So I had my 18-year-old in the room.
Okay,
Just graduated high school, Judge.
congrats. All right,
Do you want me to make the record over again or just continue?
I do. He needs to hear everything that's
Okay.
taking place.
This is 20 CF 126, people of the state of Illinois versus Jose Ortega Reyes.
Entonces, el estado de Illinois contra José Ortega Reyes, 20CF126.
People by Assistant State's Attorney Christopher Corbin,
De la Fiscalía está Christopher Corbin.
defendant present in the custody of the Lake County Jail.
El
and
acusado está
assisted-
El acusado está
assisted- Go ahead.
en custodia del condado de la cárcel,
Assisted by the Spanish language interpreter and his attorney, Mr. Schwarzbach.
asistido por el intérprete de la Corte de Español y su abogado, el señor Schwarzbach.
The matter comes before the court for pretrial.
El caso viene ante usted para una fecha antes de juicio.
Judge, we have been in ongoing negotiations.
Su señoría, hemos tenido negociaciones continuas.
We are asking for July 15th.
Estamos pidiendo para el 15 de julio.
Are we doing Wednesdays at that point?
We will be doing Wednesdays.
Estamos haciendo los miércoles, sí.
July 15th at 10 o'clock. Mr. Corbin, Mr. Schwarzbach.
Judge, I'm
Correct, Your
sorry.
Honor.
Is it
I'm hearing a lot of echo.
Is it 110? Is it 110?
Yeah. So I think that was coming from the bond court feed.
Sorry, Your Honor. It was recog for 110.
No worries. If Mr. Schwarzbach, are you okay with July 15th? It's a Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
Wednesday, July 15th at 10 o'clock. Judge, I'm working closely with Mr. Ortega Reyes to understand and discuss the state's offer, which is not unreasonable. I
Okay,
am
Mr.
working with
Schwarzbach,
him
hold
and
on.
his family.
Stop, just because our interpreter needs to
My apologies.
do this in small bites. Go ahead.
Yes. Su señoría, sí, es el 15 de julio, el miércoles a las 10 de la mañana. Yo estoy hablando con mi cliente, el señor Reyes Ortega, hablando de la oferta.
I'll be continuing to work with him face to face with my interpreter, as I did yesterday.
Voy a continuar hablando con él de cara en cara, como hice con el intérprete ayer.
Okay. Then, sir, we will see you on July 15th.
Ok, señor, lo vemos el 15 de julio entonces.
And hopefully we'll have a resolution to your case then.
Y espero
Your
que
Honor-
tengamos una resolución para su caso.
Your Honor,
Okay.
if this gentleman can call me directly this evening,
Su señoría, si este señor me puede llamar esta tarde, por favor.
Sir, can you make phone calls or do you need court-ordered phone calls?
Señor, ¿puede hacer llamadas o necesita que el juez le dé unas llamadas?
Necesito que me dé porque los teléfonos todo el tiempo están ocupados.
I need you to give me some because it seems like the phones are always busy.
Okay, we'll give you 2 phone calls to contact your attorney, sir.
Le vamos a dar 2 llamadas para que contacte a su abogado, señor.
¿Para cuándo?
For one,
esta noche entre 5 y 8 en la tarde.
Mr.
So this-
Schwarzbach, our court reporter is not going to be able to interpret your statement, so
Between
so
between
this
5
afternoon between 5 and 8 p.m.
all right, that's the first time I've had an interpreter interpret for the attorney. So, Ms. Diaz, thank you. All
Your
right,
Honor.
sir, we will see you in July. Thank you.
So lo vemos en julio, señor. Gracias, es todo.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jim, who's your next client that you have?
Judge, the
Yeah.
other we
I'm
have
not
two
sure for
now.
me-
I'm sorry, Chris.
Go ahead, Jim.
We have Derek McKenzie, English speaking. We have Derek Johnston, English speaking. We have Israel Ramirez, Spanish speaking.
So let's get either Mr. McKenzie or Mr. Johnston.
Mr. McKenzie's on the way, sir.
Thank you.
I think Johnson.
Johnston, there's a Johnson and a Johnston. All right, Mr. Corbin, is this yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
19 CF 813, 19 CF 1310. People of the state of Illinois versus Derek McKenzie. People by Christopher Corbin. Defendant present in the custody of the Lake County Jail, assisted by his attorney, Mr. Schwarzbach. All parties come before the court by way of Zoom conference. Matter comes before the court for a case management conference. And Your Honor, we do have a negotiation. I just need to do the paperwork. So we would ask for that same July 15th date if the court's amenable to that.
Mr. Schwarzbach, are you okay with that court date?
July 15th at 10 o'clock, sir. Mr. McKenzie?
No. Yeah.
Very good. Mr. McKenzie, you'll call me this evening, please.
All right, so we're going to continue your case out to July 15th. Do you have the ability to make a phone call, or do you need me to order a phone call so you can contact Mr. Schwarzbach?
I could order a phone call.
All right, I'll give you 2 quarter phone calls to contact your attorney, and then we'll hopefully get your case resolved on July 15th, okay? All right, thank you, sir.
Next case we have is Derek Johnston.
She's right there, please.
This is 17 CF 520, 19 CF 2593. People of the state of Illinois versus Derek Johnston. People by Christopher Corbin. Defendant present in the custody of the Lake County Jail with his attorney, Mr. Schwarzbach. All is appearing by way of Zoom conference. And the matter comes before the court for pretrial. And Judge, I believe the defendant is still attempting to get into inpatient treatment. There was conversation on the last court date regarding doing that before there was a plea. So we're asking for the 15th of July at 10 a.m. for status.
Is that right, Mr. Schwarzbach?
Judge, it is as recently as this weekend, his grandmother, who's my liaison with Gateway, is indicated Gateway says he's one of the very next to be transported. All orders are in place with Lieutenant Kalfas and Gateway.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Johnson, I guess we'll just have to sit tight and see if you get a bed. We'll have your case up on July 15th for status. If you get in, was it the 30-day program at Gateway that you're looking at?
Yes, sir.
All right, you gotta, I mean, they put you in head first and there's no slowing down, so make the most out of that opportunity. So we'll see you on July 15th. We'll find out where we're at, okay?
Thank you.
Judge, if Derek can call me this evening.
Can you give Mr. Schwarzbach a call this evening, sir?
Sure.
Okay, thanks so much. Do you need a phone
Thank you,
call
Jim.
or are you good?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Jim. We'll just wait until Mr. Ramirez is available, okay?
Thank you, sir.
And who's this?
Mr. Ramirez, Your Honor.
Oh, I got it.
Thanks, Elise.
This is 19 CF 1860 and 19 CM 2130. People versus Israel Ramirez.
So, este es 19 CF 1860, 19 CM 2130, Israel Ramírez.
People represented by Lisa LaBeouf.
La Fiscalía estamos Lisa LaBeouf.
The defendant is present in custody via Zoom,
El acusado está presente vía Zoom
along with his attorney, Jim Schwarzbach, is also present via Zoom.
y también su abogado Jim Schwarzbach, que también está presente vía Zoom.
Judge, we do have a negotiation. We're just asking for a plea date at the court's convenience.
Su señoría, sí tenemos una negociación, pero estamos pidiendo una fecha para que sea conveniente para usted.
And we picked a date. I don't remember what date we picked. Jim, what did we say?
Judge, because it's we picked Monday, this coming Monday, either at 9, 10 or 1:30, whatever's convenient for the court, because
Su señoría, sí escogimos esta fecha para el lunes a las 9 o 10 o 10:30 porque
the 2-year 50% offer with an August 22nd, 19 date of arrest is essentially a turnaround.
la oferta que es de 2 años a 50% de agosto es una manera en resolverlo.
So what I'll do is I'll set it at 1:30 on Monday, the 29th.
So, lo que voy a hacer es que lo voy a poner para el lunes a la 1:30.
I should be able to use a video booth at 1:30. I will not be able to have access to one in the morning. So
Así que voy a tener que tener una cosa para de video porque no voy a tener acceso para ello en la mañana.
so sir, we will see you next on the 29th. That's Monday.
Así que lo voy a ver el próximo lunes a la 1:30.
And that will be for entry of your plea.
Y eso es para entrar su declaración de culpabilidad.
Have you been able to understand everything through our interpreter?
¿Sí ha podido entender todo con el intérprete? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll see you Monday.
Gracias, señor. Lo veo el lunes.
Will Mr. Ramirez give me a call this afternoon and evening?
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Good to go.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
For the
Schwarzbach,
jail,
thank you. Hold on. I don't believe we have anybody else that requires the interpreter. I don't know about Mr. Mendoza Soto. Do we know if that's an interpreter?
let me check.
Your Honor, I'm leaving your courtroom. Have a good morning. I'll see you in the afternoon.
Thank you,
Yes,
Jim.
Thank you.
Mendoza Soto is an interpreter matter.
Is that a PD case?
Yes, Ms. Castle, who's on.
Then, Ms. Castle, if you're there, can you jump on so I can release our interpreter after we call this case? Or Mr. Hawk, our public defenders. There you are.
I'm here for Johnson, Judge. Do you want me to text Jill really quick?
That would be helpful.
I'm sorry, Judge, I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We have Mr. Mendoza Soto. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And again, Jill, we're using the interpreter. Lisa, we're using the interpreter. So be merciful.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
This is 18 CF 1849 and 19 CF 2059. People versus Juan Mendoza Soto.
So, este es 18 CF 1849, 19 CF 2059. Esto es Juan Mendoza Soto.
People represented by Lisa LaBeouf.
De la Fiscalía está Lisa LaBeouf.
The defendant is present in custody via Zoom,
El acusado está presente vía Zoom,
and as well as his attorney, Miss Castle, Jill Castle, via Zoom.
también su abogada es la señorita Castle, Jill Castle está presente vía Zoom.
And the defendant is assisted by the court Spanish interpreter.
Y el acusado está asistido por el intérprete español de la corte.
This case comes before you to review the sentencing that was given by this court on June 9th.
Y estamos aquí para ver lo de la sentencia que fue hecho el 9 de junio.
Okay, sir, good morning.
Señor, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Have you been able to hear everything that has been said by the use of our interpreter?
¿Usted ha podido escuchar todo lo que está diciendo con la ayuda del intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
The attorneys, for the record, did provide to the court in advance 2 court orders that reflected the sentence that was entered.
Los dos abogados me dieron documentos que refleja lo que pasó en la sentencia.
The first order is on the aggravated DUI sentence,
La primera orden tiene que ver con los agravantes en el DUI,
which reflects a sentence of 3 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections,
que refleja una sentencia de 3 años en el Departamento de Corrección,
followed by 2 years of mandatory supervised release or parole.
seguido por 2 años de supervisión en libertad o libertad provisional.
The second order is for a concurrence sentence of 2 years in the Department of Corrections,
La segunda orden es concurrente por 2 años en el Departamento de Corrección,
followed again by the longer period of 2 years of mandatory supervised release or parole.
y seguido por una sentencia más larga de 2 años de libertad supervisada o libertad provisional.
And ladies, you exchange these orders and you are in agreement, not necessarily with the sentence, Ms. Castle, but with the contents of the orders, correct?
Y señoritas, ustedes intercambiaron las órdenes y están de acuerdo. Obviamente, señorita Castle, usted no está de acuerdo con la sentencia, pero sí intercambiaron los documentos.
Yes, Judge, and I just wanted to make sure that the court was in receipt of the custody credits as well.
Yes.
Thank
Sí,
you.
su señoría. Y quiero asegurarme solo que se le dé crédito por el tiempo que ha pasado aquí. Sí.
I
Judge,
don't
we're
have-
also in agreement.
También estamos de acuerdo, su señoría.
I don't have a order that reflects jail credits.
I had submitted that yesterday, Judge. I will send another copy just now.
Yo no tengo la orden que refleja el crédito de la cárcel, pero su señoría, yo voy a enviar una orden para que usted la tenga.
I'm sorry, Jill, I thought I printed everything that you all sent to me.
I'll resubmit.
Thank you. What
Perdón,
is
yo
that
pensé
number?
que,
Oh, sorry, Ms. Diaz, go ahead.
perdón, Jill, pensé que había imprimido todo, pero usted me va a dar eso y yo se lo voy a imprimir, su señoría.
183 days as of today, Judge.
183 días.
And that's of today's date is 183.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
De
So
la
I
fecha de
will,
hoy.
and Ms. LaBeouf, you're in agreement with that?
Yes, Judge.
Señora Lobov, ¿está de acuerdo? Sí, su señoría.
Then I'm going to also credit the defendant 183 days towards that sentence plus any additional time that he is awaiting transport to the Illinois Department of Corrections, any and all good time credit. Sorry, Ms. Diaz.
It's okay. So, sí, entonces le voy a dar crédito por los 183 días que ha tenido y más cualquier tiempo adicional que esté esperando para que lo lleven al Departamento de Corrección de Illinois.
And any and all good time credit will be calculated according to the rules of Illinois Department of Corrections.
Y cualquier crédito bueno se le va a calcular basado en las leyes del Departamento de Corrección de Illinois.
Additionally, for the record, this is considered a 50% sentence.
Adicional para el registro es una sentencia de 50%.
Finally, the parties sent over a financial sentencing order totaling $2,709. That's less all credits that the gentleman is entitled to.
Finalmente, también me enviaron una orden que dice que debe $2,709 y eso es parte de la orden.
Ms. Castle, how are you asking the court to handle that?
Judge,
Sorry.
sorry.
Señora Castle, ¿cómo es que quiere que yo lidie con eso?
I'm asking for a status of payment date, Judge.
Sí,
How
su señoría,
far?
estoy pidiendo una fecha de estatus de pago. ¿Qué tan lejos?
I believe typically it's 6 months. If the court is comfortable with setting a year date, just considering he is interested in paying these court costs.
Su señoría, si puede ponerlo para un año, él está considerando pagar los costos de corte.
Let's set this then on the 23rd of June, 2021 for an entry of judgment date.
Entonces hay que fijarlo para el 23 de junio del 2021 para ver lo de los pagos.
And that will give the gentleman an opportunity to satisfy that obligation.
Y eso le va a dar una oportunidad al señor para poder satisfacer esas obligaciones de los pagos que tiene que hacer.
6/23/21. Okay, anything else, folks?
¿Algo más?
Ms. Castle, for the record, I do have the order. Sorry, the clerk had a copy for me.
So I will delete that.
And you are at this time electing, after consulting with your client, electing not to file a motion to reconsider the sentence.
That's correct, Judge. I've spoken with him.
And are you asking the court to do anything with regard to appeal rights?
Not at this time.
And
Se consultó con su cliente y le dijo que no, ahorita en este momento no quieren presentar nada para considerar de nuevo la sentencia. No, su señoría.
in my recollection is I advised Mr. Soto of all of that after the sentencing.
Y lo que yo me acuerdo es que yo le mencioné todo eso al señor Soto acerca de eso.
All right, anything else from the parties?
No, Judge.
¿Algo más de las
Right.
partes? No, su señoría.
Mr. Soto, be safe. Good luck to you, sir.
Señor Soto, buena suerte y esté seguro.
I don't believe that the Illinois Department of Corrections is accepting inmates at this point. So you may be staying here in Lake County to serve the remainder of that sentence.
No creo que ahorita el Departamento de Corrección de Illinois esté tomando a ninguna persona nueva, así que se va a lo mejor a quedar aquí en el condado para hacer toda su sentencia.
Do you understand that?
¿Entiendes eso?
Sí, gracias.
Yes, I understand.
And again, sir, I don't have any control over any of that. That's entirely up to the state.
Y de nuevo, señor, yo no tengo control acerca de nada de eso. Eso depende de la fiscalía.
Do you understand that as well?
¿Entiendes eso también?
Sí.
Yes.
Finally, sir, do you need some phone calls to let your family know what's going on?
Señor, finalmente necesita llamadas para poder hablarle a su familia y dejarle saber lo que está sucediendo.
Sí, por favor.
Yes, please.
Okay, under these circumstances, I'll give you 3 phone calls to your family.
Bajo estas circunstancias, le voy a dar 3 llamadas para su familia.
Gracias.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir. Good luck to you.
Gracias, señor. Buena suerte.
Good luck.
Are
Guys, I'm
those, sorry, Your Honor, are those all the interpreter cases?
Mr. Yes, thank you. Yes, run, don't look back. All right.
Okay, thank you.
I need to visit with Michelle for just 1 second, guys. Hang on.
Judge, I'm ready on Joshua Johnson whenever.
Yes. Okay, John, as soon as we get a prosecutor back, we'll get you rolling.
Thank you.
We're here.
Okay. Hang on 1 sec. Let Michelle catch up here.
And Lisa, just between me and you and Mackie, Davina thought she was going to be back today. Would you have any objection to continuing it to Thursday?
I just sent you the email. We talked, and it's going to be moved to Thursday.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thursday is no trip to Hollywood either, guys, so.
I know, Judge, it's a custody, and the offer, she needs to give an answer by Thursday, so we need to have it on the call.
Okay, so let's call Mr. Johnson's case,
Okay.
and then we'll deal with Miss Mackey. Mr. Mackey.
Is the jail bringing him?
He is. They are.
Okay.
I'd say when I come down, 6:11.
And who's this gentleman?
Mr. Johnson, sir.
All right, Mr. Johnson, thanks. Ms. LaBeouf, when you're ready.
This is 19 CF 1996 People versus Joshua Johnson. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is present in the custody of the Lake County Jail, and he is present via Zoom. He is joined by his attorney, John Hawk. Your Honor, this case comes before you for status. It was just sent to us from the fitness court.
Okay.
It's actually up for bond review as well. There should be a bond report. I have a copy.
There is. And Ms. LaBeouf, do you have a copy of that?
Yes, Judge. I'm just pulling it up now.
Okay. And Mr. Hawk, do you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, I do, Judge. I spoke to my client yesterday. And I think one of the most important matters for the court to consider on this is the fact that he was unfit for a period of time. He is now fit and stable to me, Your Honor. He does state that he is a stable residence at his brother's in Woodstock. He doesn't have any money for bond because he has been incarcerated now on this case for about 290 days. He's indicated that he needs to work. He does have 2 children. They're 12 and 15 years old. His Michigan case that he's currently on probation for stems from issues with payment of child support. He wishes to make those payments, Judge. He says that he does have a job lined up through his brother as well and would be able to work immediately. He has worked in the past. Beyond that, he wants Your Honor to know that one of the reasons for his fitness issues is being incarcerated. His anxiety spiked. He's also, because of that, he's put on 42 pounds since being incarcerated. He does not feel that it's the most healthy situation for him to be in. He believes that he is now able to successfully be law-abiding in the community, Your Honor. He does have a meritorious defense to these charges. Based on all that, Your Honor, and he would be willing, if it would sway Your Honor's decision, to wear the Scram device. This is the issue with obviously the allegations in this case that could monitor him to a degree where he would, the court could be ensured that he would not be violating any bond conditions.
Ms. LaBeouf?
Judge, he stands before you on a Class 1 non-probational DUI, meaning this is his 5th. He indicates in the bond review that he hasn't had alcohol in 2.5 years. However, this case is from September of 2019. So I don't find that very forthright with the bond explaining his history. He has a history of failing to report, a history of non-compliance. He has a significant criminal history. Being charged with a Class 1, and this being his 5th DUI, I believe the bond, while low, is still appropriate.
Mr. Hawk, was there any medication that was prescribed by the Department of Human Services when the gentleman was restored to fitness?
There was, Judge. If I could have a moment. He was diagnosed bipolar 1 disorder, current episode manic. Let's see if I can find the actual medication. I have the latest fitness report in front of me. It's quite long, but I can find it. He's on Qualipine or Quetapine.
You spell it?
Q-U-E. It's either an L or a T. I-A-P-I-N-E. 600 milligrams daily for mood stabilization. He also, as far as his treatment, there was individual and group fitness education services, coping skills group, relationship group.
But that was all in the Department of Human Services, correct? That's not in the community.
That's correct. That's what he received while there, but he did receive the medication as well.
And do you know if your client is receiving medication in the jail?
I don't. Are you currently on medication?
Yeah,
Joshua?
they don't. Yeah, they don't have me on the Seroquel. That's what I was on, but it's generic, or it's a off-brand from Seroquel.
Okay.
That's what you're currently on?
Yeah.
Okay.
With a formula.
The reason too behind this, is me being pleading not guilty on this class one. The main thing is too is my health is I'm concerned about my health because I put on 42 pounds. That's just not normal.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson, I am too. That's why I asked about the medication. And when I say I'm concerned about your health, it's not just your physical health, it's your mental health that I'm concerned about all of it. I would note a couple things for the record, that the information about the residence with his brother, all that is unverified as I have this report in my hand. There's nothing that appears to have been verified by anybody.
My caseworker had verified it when I was at the Elgin.
Okay.
I do know that.
Okay. And I will be happy to hear from you, Mr. Johnson. Just let me get through what I need to say, and then I'll be happy to hear from you. What's more than that, the address is in McHenry County. It's not in Lake County. But what really is concerning to the court is the fact that I've got no exit plan for this gentleman in the community. So, Mr. Hock, you know me well enough through treatment courts to know how I kind of look at these things. I certainly don't like keeping anybody with a mental health issue in custody, but I'm much more comfortable releasing them into the community if there are community safeguards in place. So I'm not going to grant or deny your motion to revisit bond. What I am going to do is I'm going to ask you to get me more information about the brother, about his ability, his being Mr. Johnson's ability to connect with treatment in the community so he can stay on medication, stay well, and stay fit to stay on trial and participate in his defense. So I'm going to enter and continue your request for a bond hearing.
Okay, Judge, and what I'll do is I'll, just so you're aware, he's only been, I was gone last week. I only had one chance to meet with him. I will have a social worker from our office see if they can help with any of this for the time being and get back to them on that.
I know Ms. Price is awesome, and I don't know your other social worker. I think you have two now, but I know they do great work. So let's put this over. Let's put this over till next Thursday at 10 o'clock. And that'll be for status of bond review.
And what's that?
That is July 2nd. And here's what I would tell you, as I always tell the lawyers in these situations. If you have something sooner than that and I'm available, I'll be happy to hear it sooner than next Thursday.
Okay, Judge, I'll get on it and be prepared by the 2nd at least.
All right, Mr. Johnson, did you want to have anything else, sir?
Yeah, my caseworker, when I was in Elgin, has all that information that she verified. And that's Kaler. Her name's Kaler. She verified all that before I left because she was asking me about address and the phone number, and I gave that to her. If I can give John my brother's phone number so he can call him to let him know that I'm going to be staying there and paying rent there. And
yeah, those are all great things to do, and all that information helps Mr. Hock out. So I'm sure he'll visit with you by phone or come over and see you, and then we'll see where we're at next Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. This is being publicly broadcast in a way, Joshua. So we don't want to give out your brother's information through this call, but we will come see you. Okay.
Okay. You're going to come see me before court Thursday, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This Thursday. It's next Thursday.
All right, Mr. Johnson, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And Judge, I think we can call Samsel next for the jail.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I just printed it, sorry.
No, right here. Grab a seat to your right.
This is 17 CF 2084, People versus Nicholas Samsel. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is present via Zoom and in custody of the Lake County Jail. He's joined by his attorney, Jill Castle, who's also present via Zoom. Your Honor, this case comes before you for a bond review, and there should have been a report filed with the court.
Are the parties in receipt of a bond report?
Yes, Judge.
Jill, you're still muted.
Yes, I am in receipt. Thank you, Judge.
All right. And Ms. Castle, would you like to be heard on bond?
I will, Judge. We had, he was arraigned on this petition last week, if you'll recall. He's been on probation since October of 2018, and he, as Mr. Parker testified, was doing well. He was reporting, he did 90 days inpatient treatment. He did 110 hours at the CASA. He had significant familial issues, if you'll recall, which essentially was the catalyst for the beginning of his non-compliance, which Mr. Samsel knows, especially now, that cannot happen. Otherwise, he will remain in custody and finish his sentence that way. As the bond report indicates, he is not high risk. He has a confirmed residence here in Lake County. Significantly, while he does have a criminal record, they are mostly traffic offenses, mostly nonviolent in nature. And importantly, he hasn't incurred any new charges since he's been on probation, since he's actually picked up this case in 2017. If you'll recall, he's the sole financial provider for his family. His fiance is having a double lung transplant and she's suffering from heart failure issues. He works, I believe it was 80 hours a week supporting his family. As the bond report indicates, he has not consumed alcohol in over 3 years. This was the first time that he did test positive for marijuana or any type of substance. He was doing really well. I am, based on that, Judge, I am asking for the court to release him on his own personal recognizance today. If you'll recall, Mr. Parker did suggest additional treatment might be appropriate, but on an outpatient basis. So I think it would be appropriate to set the matter for hearing for him to get re-engaged in treatment and to get back on track with probation.
Judge, in reviewing the report, it indicates that he had multiple violations. The probation officer did not testify that he was doing well. The probation officer said he hadn't seen him since December. So you can't reward someone that he was doing well when he hasn't been there for 6 months. The defendant chose to abscond for 6 months. The only test that we have in that 6-month period was the test we did last week. If you review his criminal history, all of his sentences have PTRs have been revoked and resentenced. There was one where a PTR was filed and the probation was extended. That was in 2007. With the exception of one traffic case that, a PTR was filed. So they've all had been revoked. So he cannot comply with any type of community sentence. A $10,000 bond is appropriate given his violations and his history.
Anything else, Ms. Castle?
Just to clarify, Judge, Mr. Parker did testify that prior to absconding from probation in December, he was doing well, which would have been for, well, a little over a year. And that's what I was referring to, just for clarification.
Yeah, and the court's recollection is that, by way of summary, Mr. Parker testified that he was off to a good start. I mean, he was doing what he was supposed to do, and then the wheels came off at some point around the holidays, which not unusual for people with substance abuse issues. The holidays are a triggering time for sure. Mr. Samsel, what about your history should give me any comfort about releasing you back into the community?
Sir, a lot of it had to do with my son being born 28 weeks. He was born at 28 weeks and it was in the NICU for 5 months. And I really had to focus on her and him. and he almost did not survive. So I really had to focus on my family at that time, and I really wasn't really concerned about myself at the time. I was more concerned of my family's well-being rather than myself. And things are more on the up and up with them.
Hold on, let me stop you for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
What good is it doing your son when you're not complying with your probation? You can go to prison. The state got your bond increased. And what good are you doing your son sitting in the county jail?
It does none, sir.
Right. So when you throw yourself into something, which I appreciate, I do on multiple levels that you're unaware of, and you got a sick child, that's not the time for you to disengage from the things that are keeping you sober. That's the time for you to engage more in those things, because with your history, you're just waiting to go to the Department of Corrections. You got to figure out a way to balance this stuff.
Yes, sir.
And really, that's what treatment's all about. Either you learn that or you don't. And if you learn it, you're going to stay at liberty. You don't learn it, you're going to be sitting in DOC.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
that's kind of, those are very stark choices right now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm over the objection of the state. I'm going to convert your bond from a cash bond to a recognizance bond. And the conditions of your bond are going to be that you comply with all the terms and conditions of your probation, including any treatment that probation recommends for you. And you to drop as directed and report as directed.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm going to set a short date. I'm going to set this on July 7th at 1:30 on Zoom. And it's going to be on you to demonstrate to this court at that time your compliance with probation. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask that probation file a written status report on that date, so I'm aware of what Mr. Samsel is up to. Having a sick child is a nightmare. Having a sick fiance is incredibly stressful. Hear this. I don't care if weed is legal in Illinois. I don't care if you can go to a dispensary tomorrow and blaze away. If the governor says that's okay, that's his opinion. My opinion is you're under the jurisdiction of the court. It's in your court order that you cannot consume cannabis. No cannabis, period. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All the other terms and conditions of your probation are in full force and effect. I'm going to also order that this morning when you're released, you go to probation and you check in with Mr. Parker and figure out what you need to do to get back in his good graces. Ms. LaBeouf, anything else from the state?
No, Judge.
Ms. Castle?
Is the court hearing this matter for pretrial on July 7th?
Yeah. It's in petition status, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Judge.
Pretrial.
Pretrial on the petition and status of compliance.
Thank you. That's all.
Right. Mr. Samsel, get over there. If you come back with violations, understand this is not, and the state can prove that to me in a hearing, understand this is not going to end well for you. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. We'll see you in
Thank you,
July.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Stand right there for a second. I don't know. That I don't know. What do you want next, sir?
Are we going to bring up Mackey, or are we agreeing to continue it to Thursday?
I don't know. You guys tell me.
I know the jail said it's going to be a while to get him, so if we let them know so if they stop transporting him.
That would be great. We'd like to talk to him one last time, Judge. I'm on this case with Davina. She's out of the office today.
Is this the fellow that wants to go pro se, Jen?
No.
Okay. All right. So are you asking to waive them and put it over?
We're going to put him on Thursday, please.
Oh, Thursday is Thursday.
I know.
Michelle, is it a nightmare Thursday morning? I think Thursday afternoon is bad, but I don't know about the morning. That is the 25th. Okay, we could do it Thursday morning.
Thank you.
All right, so why don't we call it, John, why don't you sit tight for a sec? We'll call it, we'll waive them, we'll put it on the record.
This is 19 CF 488, People versus Clyde Mackey. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is not present, but he is in the custody of the Lake County Jail, and he's joined by his attorney, John Hawk. Your Honor, we do have an agreement to move this to Thursday so that counsel can meet with his client.
Yes, I'm asking to waive his presence today, Judge.
Okay, under the circumstances, I'll waive Mr. Mackey's presence. We'll continue it to Friday, the 25th of June at 10 a.m. and that'll
Thursday.
be for status.
Are we doing Thursday or Friday?
I think you meant Thursday.
Did I meant Thursday the 25th of June. I had the dates right, but the day wrong. Sorry, guys.
Better than that.
Pardon me, John?
That's it for me.
John, you're breaking up terribly.
Oh, I said that's it for me. Have a good day, everybody.
All right, thank you,
You
John.
too. I believe Mr. Corbin is coming on to call Mr. Ataka's cases.
Then we just have one more custody, Mr. Greathouse.
I have a Miller.
Judge, so I can call that real quick. This is 18 CF 2156, People of the State of Illinois versus Stephen Miller. People by Christopher Corbin. Defendant is not present. He is represented by his attorney, Mr. Ataka. Parties appearing by way of Zoom conference. Judge, this matter was previously continued on defendant's motion, but there was no trial date set or no future trial date set. So we would like to set this for a trial date and possibly I'm not sure if the court wants a status or pretrial date in addition to that.
Is Mr. Miller in custody?
He is not. He's living in New York.
Okay, so with permission of the court, I'm assuming, Judge Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then Mr. Ataka, when would you like to have this set for trial? August, September?
September, Your Honor.
All right, then motion defendant September 14th for trial. Gentlemen, under those circumstances with the gentleman living out of state, I'm not inclined to set a case management date. If you have something, you can always notice it up before then.
Understood. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Next, if we could have Mr. Hodge.
Give me 1 second, sir.
Recog. Oh. Do you want to go next door, see if they have one? Okay, that'd be great. Thanks. Looks like a bomb.
Grab a signature.
United States versus Nichols. United States versus Nichols.
This is 18 CF 2899. People of the State of Illinois versus Kenny Hodge. People by Christopher Corbin. Defendant present by way of Zoom conference in the custody of the Lake County Jail. Also present is Mr. Ataka. The matter comes before the court for status. Judge, I did file with electronically the state's response to the defendant's motion. I also sent a copy to Mr. Ataka as well as a courtesy copy to your email.
All right, and gentlemen, do you have you each seen each other's pleadings? Mr. Ataka?
I'm sorry, Judge. I haven't seen the motion in response to our motion to strike.
Well, I wasn't going to hear it. I was going to set a hearing date. So what's a good day for you all to hear this?
Any date.
Any day for the state, Judge.
How about next Wednesday, July 1st at 9 a.m. or 9:30?
That'd be great.
Zoom or in person, Your Honor?
No, we'll be Zooming that one. Ataka.
So 9:30?
Yes, sir. And then we'll see you then, Mr. Hodge. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
And for the jail, I have Great House next.
Putting that next Thursday.
Yeah.
I think they heard us.
All right, sir, good morning. Ms. LaBeouf, when you're ready.
This is 18 CF 545 and 19 CF 2641, People versus Larry Greathouse. People represented by Lisa LaBeouf. The defendant is present in the custody of the Lake County Jail and joining us via Zoom, along with Jill Castle, who's here on behalf of Davina Ayala. Your Honor, this case is up for case management. I spoke to Ms. Ayala. We did tender an offer that does expire, so we are asking for a next week pretrial date.
Next Thursday, the 2nd?
That'd be fine.
All right, Mr. Greathouse, your attorney is going to be over to review an offer with you and talk about your case. And we're going to visit again next Thursday, July 2nd at 10 o'clock in the morning, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll see you then.
And that's all I have on my call. Does Michelle have anything left?
Not this morning.
Okay.
I think that's it for this morning.
I'm gonna log on early, see if we could start early, because I know it's pretty bad this afternoon.
Well, I mean, it's been worse, but yeah, no, I'll jump on about 5 minutes earlier.
That sounds good.
And Maggie will be here too, so if we have some things, some quick things, we can do them then.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Have a good lunch.